All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. If you're watching Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like most, hope you're having a good day. Hope you have some exciting plans for the weekend. And if not, Saturday, we have 12 fights. Sorry, we went on a couple minutes late. And the reason for that, Big Marley just notified me. This fight got announced today, and this is actually really big for DFS. We were only looking at 11 fights, which is terrible for DFS. So I was not excited one bit. We did get a 12th added, though. Carl, Foro, Gigi, Canuto. I have not looked into one bit. Again, I just found out 10 minutes ago, so I was adding it to the stone and everything. Big Marley did look at it, though. He said it's a Clash of Styles. Clash of Styles always excites me. So, yeah, I was going to come into this card and say, I never lie to everyone. This card's cheeks for DFS. Now I take that back. I mean, not the best card, but definitely not the worst card. A phenomenal main event, as you guys can see, the only 5-star fight Big Marley has. Hey, I'm a little more excited to talk about these now, Big Marley. 12 fights versus 11 is night and day, in my opinion. So how are we doing today?
Yeah, not bad. I just looked into those two. I still got to watch some film on them, but got the overall idea of it. But, yeah, bringing it up to 12 fights does help. Another card where people aren't going to know. I mean, a handful of these names. I love the main event's going to be awesome, but aside from that, there's no real amazing fight to really look forward to. So hopefully it's a good DFS card, and that'll make it better.
Absolutely. No one to say hi to right now. All we ask when people watching live, watching on playback, is to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, helps us out a ton. Any broad slate overview for you, Big Marley, before we jump fight by fight?
I'm probably just going to be loading up on that main event. That's my only 5-star right now. Hopefully you can talk me into making another one of these 5 stars as we go, but I feel like that's the one I really want to target, and then I can really just get different on the rest of the card. I might even load up on this first fight. I started it off with a 3-star. I'm going to move it to a 4-star right now just because of the Clash of Styles. But, yeah, we'll talk about it.
Sweet. Let me just look real quick at the pricing and where that fight might be priced. I mean, if they don't want to duplicate any salaries, which is usually what they try to do, but it doesn't always work that way, it would have to be a 9,300 6,900, which they might do. I mean, Ty Miller, who's the second highest price at 9,200, minus 389. That would feel a little steep, though, if they went that route. I think mainly a minus 240. That's more comparison to Alexia Thainara right now, and we have Thainara at 8,800. So if they want to go based on what it should be, I'm expecting it to be an 8,900, 7,300, or 8,800, 7,400 to start off the card. I would prefer if they went that route versus if they go 9,300 and 6,900. Other than that, for my broad slate overview, I do think the mid-tier is solid. You got Nurgozhay, Bruno, Lopes, minus 250 to finish. Sutherland, Montanha, minus 250 to finish. And, of course, the main event, Salkilld, Gamrot, what a fight that will be, minus 180 to finish. So we do have all 3 fights in the mid-tier expected to finish. I think you can leave money on this card as well, and a lot of that does stem from the mid-tier. I think you could easily pick or plug in the favorite in any of those fights, drop down to the dog in those fights. You're not sacrificing much upside, and that was actually going to be, I mean, this 12 fight changes a lot for me because that was going to be my strategy. Like, all right, you're going to plug in, make a lineup, plug in Salkilld, take Salkilld out, go Gamrot, which, again, that only gets you different to an extent, but leave the 400 plus. Go to Nurgozhay, take up Nurgozhay, go Lopes, leave 600 plus. That's kind of Sutherland, Montanha, leave 700 plus. That was my strategy, or 800 plus. That was my strategy, but again, because this 12 fight was added, that's going to take ownership. That's going to spread stuff out. The combinations go up. It's a huge difference in DFS. So I'm pumped, actually, but we will start off with the first fight of the night. We only have money line odds for it, and let's see when they came out. Come on, fight odds. Sometimes it well, of course it's tweaking right now. I'll get to when it does load later. I'll see what it opens.
An hour and 15 minutes ago.
What did it open at?
Minus 200 for Foro.
Okay, and then it went right to minus 240 and stayed there, or any other line movement?
Moved, 2 minutes later.
Okay, 2 minutes. Oh, yeah. I was able to click on the other one and not that. Okay, yeah. Minus 200 plus 174. 2 minutes later, moved to minus 240 plus 200 and no other change there. But again, this line is very fresh without too much money on it, so I will be keeping a close eye on where that goes. The only prop on this is under 2.5, and that is actually favored. Open plus 130. Now it's minus 168. So right away, looking at that, this fight's favored to finish minus 168 on under 2.5. That kind of goes what you said right away. You say Clash of Styles, and it's expected to finish. I'm going to play this fight. That's all I know. And two girls on short notice, hoping they don't have cardio and they just go banging out. One's way better than the other. I'm interested in this fight right away, regardless of the pricing. I'll let you take it or break it down though, because again, I haven't looked at it one bit besides those couple things.
Yeah, I think it's a good DFS fight. I mean, I'm much more excited about it for DFS than I am for watching purposes. Foro was on Dana White's Contender Series, and she landed 117 strikes, significant strikes, and 3 knockdowns in that fight. She's just a short tank. She's got some decent boxing, really good, powerful hooks. She's only like 5'2", but she has knockout power. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. And she stuffed 11 takedowns in that fight as well, which is good to see. Because Gigi looks like she's not going to want to strike with 4-0 at all. If she's going to get her hand raised, it's going to have to come through the ground. It could be a submission in round 1, or she could just grind out time on the ground. I don't know that she's a good enough wrestler for that. I saw a lot of trip takedowns, which I'm not a big fan of. So I am going to pick 4-0. I'm going to give 4 stars to 4-0, 2 stars to Gigi in this one. But I think it's just a great DFS fight to start off our night because of the Clash of Styles. If either one of them dominates the fight, we got 100-point upside from either one. And I also don't think that we'll get too much ownership on either side as well. I feel like a lot of people won't even know about this fight until late in the week, and then they'll still have to do the research. It's girls, so they're not going to be too stoked about that. So I think this is going to be a top 3 fight for me to target possibly.
I think I'm going to be right there with you. I mean, Clash of Styles expected to finish it looks like it's going to be the first fight of the card. Girls, name people don't recognize. I'm expecting ownership to stay in check. I am curious to see what the inside the distance prop will be on both of them, but I'm in on the favorite. I'm in on the underdog. And again, I have to look into a little more, but I've seen enough. It doesn't matter how good, how bad, whatever it may be. I mean, both of them taking on short notice too. I do like that because if it gets extended to the second or third, hoping at least one of them has better cardio and can take over. So I like it. And again, I got way more excited to talk about this card for DFS after coming on and finding out we did just get a 12 fight added pretty late. I should have said from the top, this is an Apex card as well, 5 p.m. Eastern at the Apex. This one is going down. All right, we'll keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, 5-4, Juliana Miller taking on 7-4, Ravena Oliveira, minus 305 is Miller, plus 249 is Oliveira, minus 179 for this fight to finish. Miller minus 110 inside the distance, Oliveira plus 435. As you can see, going on the Monday, I put all these odds up on Monday. Miller was minus 260 Monday, now finds herself at minus 305. And then this fight was minus 155 to finish on Monday. Now it's minus 170. Miller opened plus 145 inside the distance, was plus 105 Monday, and now is minus 110. It's not every day. I am confident in a 5-4 fighter, but I am confident in Juliana Miller. I like her a lot this week because she wants to get the fight to the mat. I think she will have a big advantage on the mat. She has plus 135 by submission, Big Marley, open plus 200. I'm going to have a bunch of Juliana Miller at 8,900. I think she very well could be the highest score on the slate, and I would not be surprised. I do expect ownership to be there a little bit, though. I don't think it's going to sneak past people. I hope it does. But on the other side, I am going to play a little Oliveira just because if I am correct, on the higher owned Miller is, the more interest I have in Oliveira because of the leverage. And Juliana Miller pushes a pace. She blocks punches with her head. Oliveira will have the striking advantage. So this is another fight I'm looking as a clash of styles. I'm definitely on the Miller side. I think she'll get her down, eventually submit her. I like her a lot, 8,900. But when we're talking dogs, if Oliveira wins, I do think she has passed the score. So another fight, 2 ladies fights to kick off the card, and 2 I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah, I am much more interested in the Miller side. I really don't. I'm not confident in her, but for DFS, if anyone's going to score 100 plus in this fight, it's going to be Miller. Oliveira will have the striking edge, but she's just too low volume to score well in a decision period, I think. So I think we're going to need a TKO for Oliveira to have a chance at the optimal lineup. But as you mentioned, Miller blocks punches with her face, and I think that the TKO is somewhat possible. So for MME, I'd be okay with a little bit of Oliveira, but I like Miller in all formats. I think she should be looking for takedowns early and often. And the biggest advantage in this entire fight will be her grappling edge. So I think it could be a 3-round grappling clinic, or it could be a submission, and we're going to get a big score from Miller. So I do like her. I almost made it 5-star Miller, 1-star Oliveira, just because it is DFS. But I think Oliveira will be super low owned. TKO is a possibility, so I'd be okay with like 10, 15% or so.
Yeah, and again, for me, the higher owned Juliana Miller is, obviously the more interest I have in Oliveira, and I do expect her to get a decent amount of ownership at only 8,900, has continued to take money, and that's still chalk I'm going to eat. Again, now with 12 fights, it makes me feel better about eating some chalk with more combinations and more spread out ownership. All right, we'll keep it rolling to the next fight on the card, one that is expected to go the distance. Miles Johns, minus 155, taking on Jessie Rosas, plus 135, plus 110 for this fight. To finish, we have Rosas, the underdog, with the better inside the distance prop at plus 200. Miles Johns, plus 375. I mean, this one's easy for me. I never play Miles Johns in DFS. Hasn't got a finish since 2021. Low volume, as you can see on the stone. I am not playing him at 8,600 if I had only a handful of teams. And yeah, I mean, anytime you have a $7,600 fighter who's plus 200 inside the distance, plus 350 by submission, I think it's really clear. Now, to make things even better, Jessie Rosas is Raul Rosas Jr.'s brother. So you also do have that as well. Obviously, training with can get it on the mat, is good when he does get down there. With all that being said, I'm picking Miles Johns by decision because I think his takedown defense is enough to keep the fight on the feet, and Johns definitely fought the way better competition. But again, we're playing for ceiling. I don't really care who I'm picking. If Johns wins the decision, it doesn't matter for DFS. So I definitely have way more interest in Rosas. But again, I think he'll probably be one of the more popular dogs for all the reasons I just said. Rosas or pass. I don't even love Rosas, but he definitely has upside, as you can see by the inside the distance prop. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on Rosas. I'm picking him to win. He's going to be one of my highest owned underdogs on the card. I'm probably not going to play any Johns. The advantages I would give to Johns would be like one punch knockout power, but I just don't expect that from him. He is low volume as well. He's a good wrestler too, but he just doesn't wrestle enough. So I don't know who I even give the edge there to. But Rosas on the feet, he's more aggressive. I think he'll throw more volume. He has worse striking defense, which could lead to him getting knocked out. But I just like his all-around game more. I think he's the better submission grappler. I think he's the better scrambler. I think he'll be the more active striker with more tools in his striking toolbox. So my preferred play, preferred bet, everything in this one is going to be Rosas. And I do think it's good that Raul Rosas is his brother. I believe he's his younger brother as well. So maybe he's learning from Jessie. And I like that as well. You got 11 or 9 years younger than Johns. I believe it's Johns' last fight on his contract too. I think just everything lines up for this being a good fight for Rosas. So if I'm making limited lineups, I'm going to X out Johns. I'd be okay tossing them in a couple if I was MMEing, but Rosas is somebody I will be targeting. I'll be clicking on, early in my lineups rather than a last spot in my lineups. And I think he's a pretty good fighter.
Yeah, I can't argue with any of that. I do want people to be cautious. If they're going to go Rosas Jr. to start, and then they're going to go Juliana Miller, and then they're going to go Quillen Salkilld, and then Diego Ferreira, whatever it may be, you are kind of you're asking to hold hands with a lot of people. So, because I do think Rosas is one of the more chalky dogs on the slate. But 12 fights, you can definitely get different in plenty of ways. Miles Johns is not a way that I'm looking to get very different. All right, let's head over to the Ship It Nation homepage. As you can see, as many of you guys saw, the main deal we have going on right now is our All Access special. Usually $99 for your first month. You get Discord, you get Saber Sim, you get all of the sports listed above. Only $49 for your first month. Bottom left, join the nation. There are also multiple other deals. If you want to just give us a try and you don't want to pay the full $49 to start, you get it 5 days for $19 as well with SaberSim. With the Discord, PGA locks tomorrow, MLB every single day, of course, MMA, NASCAR on Sundays. Shout out to Eric, does a phenomenal job in the NASCAR streets. And just the Discord alone, in my opinion, is worth any package. So we would love to have you. 5 days, $19, all access special. Or if you just play MMA and you want that far right single sport MMA, you can see the options right there. $29 for our content. If you do want to add SaberSim, just $20 more. We would love to have you. And if you do join any package, I highly recommend getting in the Discord. All right, let me zoom back in. We're going to go to the next fight on the card. This one is expected to finish. Manoel Sousa minus 260, taking on Richie Miranda plus 215. Minus 150 for this fight to finish. Sousa plus 115 inside the distance. Miranda plus 400. Sousa round 1 plus 325. I'll let you take this one away to start.
Yeah, another good fight. I want to target both sides of this one. Sousa, crazy knockout power. He had 2 knockdowns in his UFC debut and knocked out Oki cold. He's just a nasty striker, but he really is going to rely on his striking. I don't see him going for any takedowns. He's not crazy volume, but he doesn't need to be with his type of power. If he hits once, it could be over. Miranda, I think he's a pretty good boxer. If we're turning knockouts off, I think he would be okay in a striking match here. But he's going to need to mix in takedowns. And he looked like a pretty dang good wrestler to me. I think that if that's his main goal in this fight, I like him to actually win the fight. I think he could land, 2 to 5 takedowns, control the fight for a decent amount of time on the ground. And the more that he could wear out Sousa, the more power he could take away from those knockout shots. Even though he got that knockout late in the Oki fight, he carries his cardio well. Sousa, that is. So I would still worry even in the third round about those knockout shots. But at $7,100, man, Miranda, I think could put up 90 plus in a decision win. But I also think he could get a submission at some point as well. I'm definitely going to be overweight on Miranda. But Sousa is just the type of fighter that I would just be afraid to fade too much because he could, really he could get a first 60-second knockout. He's got that much power, and then you're probably dead at $8,600. So, he's 91. Okay. At $9,100, I don't love that as much. But I'm still going to have to play a little bit of Sousa. My preferred play to click on, though, is Miranda, and I think he will be less owned than Rosas, which I like as well.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all that. He'll definitely be lower owned than Rosas. Yeah, I think I'm going to cap, or at least be right around, probably cap, because if I had 12% Sousa, I think I'd be fine with that. But his round 1 prop at 23.5%, he's kind of low volume. He relies a lot on that power, and he's just a striker. And if we're already talking about Juliana Miller, who I like a lot. The new girl, Carlo Fora, who I'm going to like a lot, right in that same range. Asplund throws a lot of volume. Thainara wants on the mat. I think Diego Ferreira is interesting. The upper tier is absolutely loaded. So someone that's not expected to really finish in round 1. He's actually not even expected to finish, period, at plus 115 as just a striker. He does fall down my list a little bit. And I agree with everything you said about Miranda. I actually was pretty impressed with him. And if you do look at where this line opened, Sousa opened at minus 500. 2 minutes later was minus 281, and Miranda still has taken a little money after that. So the market has bought some Miranda. He's only 7,100. And yeah, I think he can maybe outwork Sousa a little bit as long as he does not get knocked out. So I'd prefer Miranda in this one as well. Again, Sousa has a lot of power, like everything Big Marley said. The fight's expected to finish. I don't think you should fade, but I do think the round 1 prop at plus 325, which is 23.5%. I do think right around there is probably the max that I want to be on him, as I do prefer Miller and I do prefer Foro as the favorites that we've talked about thus far more than him. All right, we're going to take it to the heavyweights. We got Louie Sutherland minus 170, Jose Luis plus 149, minus 250 for this fight to finish. Sutherland plus 140 inside the distance. Luis plus 170. And again, I said Jose Luis because that's what it has on fight odds, and that's where I'm reading it off. Jose Montanha, you guys get who I'm talking about. On Monday, Louie Sutherland was minus 155, now finds himself as a minus 170 favorite, so little money has come in on him, but I kind of said it from the top. I like the mid-tier All 3 mid-tier fights are expected to finish. Minus 250 is one of the best on the card. I think you can easily plug in Sutherland and drop to Jose as a way to get different, and that will leave 800 plus. Obviously, you don't need to just leave all 800. You can upgrade if you want to. Yeah, I, to be honest, don't have that strong of a lean. Before I came on this show, I thought we had 11 fights, and I was going to say my preferred is plug in Louie, drop Louie to Jose, and leave the 800. You have to get different on 11 fight cards. I still don't hate that. Maybe that still is my favorite approach for this 12 fighter, but I just like this fight in general. What are your thoughts?
I don't know why Montanha got the call up to the UFC, to be honest with you. He's got 6 wins. 4 of those wins were against 0-0 records. Like he's done nothing to earn this spot in the UFC, and he looks like he is a heavyweight grappler, which is not a good thing in the heavyweight division. I don't think he's a good wrestler. If we're just starting on the ground, I think he would be okay. He's going to be shooting for submissions here. I just don't think he's good enough to get takedowns against a big guy in Sutherland. Sutherland, I think, could get takedowns and be fine in top control if he wanted to. But I like Sutherland to knock this guy out. I just don't believe in Montanha. If Sutherland doesn't get takedowns and doesn't get a knockout, I really don't want exposure to him. But those are the reasons I am playing him. Plus, he's only $8,500 going against what I believe to be a scrub. So I want to be overweight to Sutherland here and hope that it doesn't go the distance. And I'm going to be underweight, maybe even fading Montanha, to be honest with you. I just think he is almost submission or bust from what I've seen. And I haven't seen enough. There's not a lot of tape on him. But the tape that I did see just was not impressive. And his opponents were even less impressive. So give me Sutherland here. I think the line's not wide enough, to be honest.
Man, I will say fading Montanha, that's got to be tough. He's plus 170 inside the distance and plus 275 by sub. Those are pretty strong numbers. If he does win at 7,700, he more than likely is optimal on this card. So I totally get what you're saying. He's fought nobody, doesn't look great. Because he's 800 cheaper, I think he is my preferred side in this one. But I'll play both sides. I do like this fight a decent amount. I love how they put these fights next to each other because it's both in the mid-tier. It's also minus 250 to finish. It's a clash of styles. Like, it's pretty much copy and paste. Last fight and this fight, in my opinion. But we got Diyar Nurgozhay 147, Bruno Lopes plus 127, minus 250 for this fight to finish. Diyar plus 100 inside the distance. Lopes plus 250 inside the distance. Nurgozhay in round 1 plus 250. Again, like the last fight. Nurgozhay on the feet will have the decision. He's plus 115 by KO. Lopes plus 675. Lopes by sub plus 400. Nurgozhay plus 2,000. On the feet, Nurgozhay. On the mat is Lopes. Now, Nurgozhay, I will give him props. He had the back-to-back fights where he got submitted and looked terrible off of his back. He did make improvements last fight, though. So, like, gun to my head, if I'm making a pick, I am on the Nurgozhay side. With that being said, though, you can easily leave 600 plus. You're not giving up much on the money line. You're not giving up much ceiling. On the 11 fight card, I was for sure going to go with more Lopes so I could leave that money. It's a little closer now with 12 fights, but I think it's close still enough with the money line ceiling props that I'm going to go with the underdog. And this is just pure game theory. It's not like, all right, I think Lopes is the better fighter, because I actually don't think that, but it's close enough with the lines that I'm going to probably lean to the saving 600, or at least saving the money with the dog. What about you?
Yeah, I like Lopes more than I like Montanha, but I am picking Nurgozhay in this one. I think most of this fight will take place on the feet, and I think Nurgozhay is just a better all-around striker. I think he has more knockout power as well. But again, with him, I would definitely worry about a decision, especially if he's going to be spending any time on his back and not scoring. I just don't think a decision is going to be enough for him. So this is going to be closer to a 3-star fight than it is a 5-star fight for me. But the clash of styles is why I put it at 4 stars. Lopes, I mean, he's a big guy. He could get a knockout, but he should be looking for takedowns in this fight. And if he does get takedowns, I think he's decent at controlling fights. And Nurgozhay does not have a bottom game. So for that reason, I am cool with Lopes, and I would be fine getting different and taking a Nurgozhay lineup down to Lopes and leaving that money on the table. But I feel like there's better fights on this card, especially if Lopes wins the first round and then he starts to tire out, Nurgozhay comes back, wins the second, maybe knocks him out in the third, I don't even think that's going to be enough at that point, and especially not going to be enough if he just wins the second and the third on the scorecard. So I don't know, man. I like that it is in the mid-range, but I feel like there's a decent chance it's going to go the distance. So I'm on the Nurgozhay side, but I don't really want to be overweight to either of these guys.
You like the Sutherland Montanha fight more?
I do, because I like Sutherland the most of the four.
Okay. I like this fight a little more because I think it's going to be higher paced. I always worry about heavyweight fights that they can be staring matches, especially with the clash of styles that way. I do like them both, though. I like them both more than you like them. A lot of that, again, though, comes down to salary. Like, you can plug in Manoel Sousa at 9,100 and just drop to Sutherland and leave 600 right there. And I don't think you're giving up much ceiling. Actually, you might even be getting inside the distance prop. You're definitely getting it with Nurgozhay at plus 100 versus plus 115. No, plus 140 for Louie. So you're giving up a little bit there. But, yeah, I mean, go drop and save 700 in Nurgozhay. You're getting a better inside the distance prop. So mainly the pricing, being able to leave money when you do play those two fights, minus 250 to finish is good on this card. But I do understand your hesitancy, and I will not lock this fight by any means. As you can see, only one 5-star fight for Big Marley. All right, what's up, Little Neck? Great to see you. Great to see you for sure. Preseason football, I know you're pumped. Tomorrow, man, that's awesome too. Yeah, that's another thing for the Discord. As you can see, we're not going to have, paid preseason content, but we will have Little Neck and others in the Discord playing the Hall of Fame game and other stuff. They do a phenomenal job. I'm sure Little Neck will have his towers. So just another reason to get in to shipination.com and get in the Discord. Next fight on the card, heavyweight fight. Stephen Asplund minus 292. Guilherme Pat plus 239. Minus 145 for this fight to finish. Asplund plus 100 inside the distance. Pat plus 525. Asplund in round 1 plus 325. Looking at it on the stone, it was minus 115 to finish on Monday. Now it's minus 145. And then it was minus 270 Stephen Asplund. Now it's minus 292. So some money coming in on the under and the Asplund side. Yeah, a lot of people are going to see that 10.05 significant strikes per minute. I will say it's a 3-fight sample, and a lot of that was in one fight against Sean Sheriff. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. If you have, you definitely remember the fight because it was insane. Sheriff took a lot of damage. Asplund kept throwing it out, scored big on DraftKings, had a great speech after. $9K, though, is a big boy price tag for someone that doesn't wrestle. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure on this one either. I feel like they're both strikers. I think Pat is the cleaner striker, maybe more knockout power, but he's lower volume. Asplund is going to be the one with the volume. He's a lot tougher too. I think he would have the cardio edge, the aggression edge, which maybe that helps Pat as well. If Asplund is going to be aggressive, I think that kind of opens Pat up for a knockout. But if Asplund's not getting knocked out by Petrino, I just don't know that he's going to get knocked out by Pat. And I do like Asplund to be our overall minute winner in this one. So my main worry is just the $9K price tag. I don't expect what we saw in his UFC debut because Pat's not as bad as Sean Sheriff. But I do like Asplund to still bring a pace. And even in a 3-round striking match, I think he could score more than 10x that 9K price tag. So I probably prefer Asplund in this one. But I like other favorites more, and if that leads me to Pat in my lineup, I think I'd be cool with that. But my thing is at 7,200, I would rather drop 100 and go down to Miranda, so I can't like Pat too much either, in my opinion. So maybe a fight where I'm in line with ownership, not really taking a stand on either side, but I don't want to fade either side as well. I think both of them have a chance of being on the optimal lineup. You see
who Sheriff's fighting next?
Yeah, I mean, I hate these matchups from Gable Stevenson. Like, what? Give us something better than that.
Yeah. I agree with what you're saying. So how about because I like Oliveira more than Pat. I'm picking Asplund to win. Like you said, if you're not getting knocked out by Ribeiro, like the dude, like Asplund just has a great chin, as very good cardio for the division. Like, I just don't see him getting knocked out. And Pat's low volume enough. Feels difficult for him to win a decision. So I like Miranda more. I like Oliveira more. That Pat sandwich in between. How about for you? I definitely like Juliana Miller more than Asplund. What's your thoughts on Sousa versus Asplund, though, right there with 100 apart?
Well, I like Asplund more because I'm picking Sousa to lose, but right. I like Pat more than Oliveira, though.
Okay, that makes sense. But you do like Asplund more than Sousa because you're picking. I agree. I like Asplund more just because the sheer volume he can throw up and his inside the distance prop is better. His round one prop is about the same. So I do prefer Asplund, but I definitely prefer Juliana Miller. I prefer Carl Foro to start it off, and then we'll get to some other ones above. But I don't love Asplund. I don't hate him. I like him more than Sousa, but again, I'm probably going to cap his ownership. Cap him at 30% for sure, and probably even a little lower than that. So not my favorite fight. I got Asplund winning probably by decision. Yeah, probably by decision, but it is the small cage, which is a big deal when you get to the heavyweights. It's a lot easier for them to close the distance. All right, and Asplund's my preferred play in this one too. I don't like Pat too much in this. Next fight, I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be pretty good. We got Ty Miller taking on Billy Ray Goff. Ty Miller minus 389, which is the second biggest on the card. Billy Goff plus 310, minus 170 for this fight to finish. Miller minus 120 inside the distance. Goff plus 500. If we're looking at it, what it was on Monday, Ty Miller has taken some money. He was minus 350. Now he's minus 389. The under has also taken some money. It was minus 160. Now it is minus 170. Ty Miller is inside the distance prop, open plus 100. Now minus 120. Goff open plus 415. Now plus 500. Everything I said, Ty Miller has taken money. The under has taken money a little bit. 26 years old, 7-0. I think this kid's pretty good. Billy Ray Goff's going to come and fight for your dollar, though, which is what you want if you're going to play Ty Miller because he's just a striker. So another guy that's not going to wrestle. I do prefer Ty Miller even at probably higher ownership and a higher salary. I do prefer him than Sousa and Asplund, though. All three are strikers. All three are priced next to each other. Break down this fight. Compare those three as well.
Yeah, I like Ty Miller, man. This kid looks really good. He is tall, long, high volume, really good punches, but he's got solid kicks. I mean, knees as well. I think he's the best striker that Goff has ever faced, and he's just going to continue to get better as well. So I am picking Miller to get a knockout in this one. I do definitely like him. But Goff at 7K, man, if he wins the fight, I feel like he is on the optimal lineup because he is also a high-paced fighter. He's a brawler. He would be more of a wrestler as well, but I think he is live for a first-round knockout or a wrestling-based win. Either of those I'm cool with. But the longer the fight goes and the longer it stays on the feet, the more I think Miller starts to read him and just starts to pick him apart, and those punches start to add up, and I think he puts them away at some point. But I also think if he's not spending time on his back, I think there will be enough volume even in a late knockout for him to be on the optimal lineup here. So he is my favorite of that group, him, then Asplund, then Sousa. But Goff, man, at 7K, I don't want to be too far under the field on him. I think he is the lowest I'm looking to go salary-wise, but I'd be fine with 20% Goff, but I would imagine I got double that in Miller.
Yeah, I mean, I will say not the hottest take that the lowest salary. The only one below him is Darren Elkins, who we will get to in a little bit. But for Billy Ray Goff, pretty similar to Gilbert Urbina last week, which we did talk about as well. Urbina had a lot going for him with Seppo. I mean, what an absolute bum. But being very high owned, the fight expected to finish, all of that. Billy Ray Goff, Miller's not going to be as high owned as Chepo was last week. But again, most of Billy Ray Goff's wins will be optimal at 7K. If you're just looking at his money line, plus 310, you go to odds converter, plus 310 is 24.4%. I do think that'll be well over the field if you do have 24%, which I think is probably a pretty solid number to get to his money line when he wins 24% of the time. Big Marley sounds like he thinks he's going to be optimal, like 23 of those 24%. So yeah, I think it's a pretty easy math equation there to get overweight Goff, and you can get overweight on Miller. Just load up on the fight, and if it's optimal, you will be happy. So I like the fight quite a bit. I agree with everything you said. Before we go to the next fight, again, we got 4 fights left. Just want to say appreciate everyone hanging out. Many watching on playback, just do us a second or take a second and do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Also, if you got any hot takes in terms of underdogs for this card, I would love to hear them in the YouTube comments below. All right, next fight on the card, another Clash of Styles. Good amount of Clash of Styles on this one. Back to some ladies. We got Alexia Thainara minus 260, Amanda Lemos plus 215, plus 160 for this fight to finish. Thainara plus 240 inside the distance. Lemos plus 500. Obviously, I mean, this fight was plus 135 to finish on Monday, now plus 160. Thainara was minus 235, now minus 265. So the under or minus 260, excuse me. The over and Thainara have taken money. The over is taking quite a bit of money, which at first you'd be like, all right, that lowers interest in this fight. But that being said, if you look at Thainara's 3 UFC wins, 106, 103, and 119. The 103 and the 119 were decision wins. 10 minutes plus of control of takedown. She wants to wrestle. Lemos wants to keep it on the feet. If she does get Lemos down, she will probably control her most of the fight. We have seen in Lemos's last 2 fights against Jillian Robertson and Tatiana Suarez, obviously 2 good grappler and wrestlers. Once they got her down, no getting up from Lemos. But she did stay defensively sound and was not submitted in either. So I guess I'm just going to go based on everything I've seen recently. I'm going to say Thainara gets a takedown around, spends it on top, wins the unanimous decision. Does she score enough at 8,800 if that is the route that goes down? And then I'll let you talk about what you think happens.
Man, I don't know. I feel like I'd be okay with 8,800. It's not something I would want to be forcing into lineups, but I think Thainara is my preferred play in this one. I don't know why I put 2 stars for this fight. I think it's closer to a 3 or a 4-star fight, actually, because of Thainara's wrestling. I don't even know that it's really a clash of styles. It's going to have to be a clash of styles for her to look like a minus 265 favorite because she's a decent striker, but Lemos is probably the better striker, more knockout power, just more experienced overall. She's beat the current champ, which is a good thing. And she's only $7,400. So I'm cool with Lemos exposure, but I don't think Lemos is going to score 100 plus, where Thainara, if she is going to wrestle and land 5+ takedowns, she could score 100 plus, especially because she'll strike on top of that as well. So I prefer Thainara, but if I need to get to Miller instead and that puts me on to Lemos, I'd be okay with that. But I think it's a decent fight to target and one that maybe the UFC wants Thainara to win. I'm not sure about that, but if that's the case, then I would like her even more because I would imagine they think she's going to go out there and wrestle because they love to feed Lemos to wrestlers. She is 39 towards the end of her career. Thainara is on the up and up, so I think it does make a lot of sense. She's got the looks as well. So, yeah, give me Thainara to win this fight on the ground, but I think the money line should be a little bit closer than it is.
I do think the UFC wants Thainara. Lemos has lost her last 2. She's 39 years old. She has that big win, like you mentioned. Thainara only 28 years old, 14-1. I mean, you can see it. It opened minus 300 Thainara. Like 30 minutes later-ish, and 40 minutes later was minus 225. 7 hours later after that was minus 205. And then ever since she was minus 205, she's continued to take money since then. I do think that the UFC wants Thainara. Lemos, she's pretty tough to take down, but once she is flat on her back, if she's not against the fence, and even if she is, she doesn't get up much. But when Thainara is closing the distance, Lemos hits like a dude. Man, she throws hard and she can crack. And if she does land on the chin of Thainara, it's probably going to be trouble for her. But, I mean, I hate to see it. Lemos open plus 400 inside the distance, now plus 500. It's not going the right way. Money line going against her, inside the distance going against her, the overtaken money. Not too much is lining up for the Lemos side. So she does fall down the list in terms of dogs. I'm fine with Thainara. And what I think about Thainara is the Asplund, Ty Miller, and Sousa. I'd be fine plugging all of them in, taking them out, leave 400 and go down from Ty Miller, leave 200 from Asplund, leave 300 from Sousa. She at least is going to try to wrestle, unlike those three. So, yeah, I like Thainara. I do like Foro and Miller more for their upside, but I will have some, as I do think she's going to want to get it to the mat early and often. All right, let's get to the highest priced and the biggest favorite on the card. 9,600 Yadier Devai is minus an 825 favorite. Darren Elkins plus 574, minus 325 for this fight to finish. Devai minus 300 inside the distance. Elkins plus 1,000. Yadier in round one plus 100. I mean, all the money has come. Like round one, Devai opened plus 150, now plus 100. Inside the distance, Devai opened minus 235, now minus 300. Money line, Devai opened minus 325, now minus 825. I don't really say this often, but like I feel bad for Darren Elkins. It's actually hard for me to watch his fights nowadays. Again, I don't say that about many people, but you see this stuff about plenty of the Anthony Smith, very sad. Who knows what's true and what's not. But I mean, these guys are getting CTE, and I think he probably already has some kind of CTE, and it's only going to get worse. Darren the damage. Like he's put on amazing fights, but he's taken a whole lot of damage at 42 years old. I hope the UFC cuts him. Even if they do, though, he could sign somewhere else. It's one-way traffic. Even though Yadier pretty much was exposed as a fraud in that last fight against Jordan Levitt, that Bulgarian fight had to have been fixed from what we saw. I mean, I'm not going to say you're beating up Darren Elkins because obviously that's not true, but you know what I'm saying. Like bottom of the barrel is Darren Elkins nowadays. 9,600 though. Rebecca did it last week. I mean, if you get him in that position where you can't move and you keep getting punched in the face and you get a buzzer beater in round one, yeah, you're going to be optimal at 9,600. But we say it all the time. That's a big boy price tag, and you have to do a lot, and you need some other things go your way for underdogs. So I think I'm going to continue not playing as much. With all that being said, though, last week Rebecca came in at like 22%. So I was like even with the field because he came in lower than I expected. Curious to hear where you think his ownership will be. And yeah, I assume you're going to say Yadier is going to kill him in round one.
I mean, yeah, Elkins just taking more damage than like anybody, it seems. I mean, he's here for a good time, not a long time at this point, dude. I don't know what he's going to look like in 10 years if he's still around, but it is scary. And at this point, the only edge I would give him would be a possible early wrestling edge. I just don't expect him to be able to eat punches. I don't expect him to look good at 42 years old. I wish he already retired. So, yeah, give me Del Valle to win this fight however he wants, but I don't like the $9,600 price tag. Even in a fixed fight, he's only scoring 101. So I feel like 100 is a really likely score for him in this one. And I don't think 100 will cut it at 9,600. Since he is by far the biggest favorite on the card, I think that the ownership will be there. I don't know that it's going to be high, but I'd say I'd put him around 30 to start. And then I'll work with the rest of the card and see where it puts me. But give me Del Valle to win this fight probably in the first round. And hopefully it's a quick takedown and a submission so we don't have to see Elkins get punched in the face. But I'm not going to play any Elkins at this point. If he wins, good for him. I'm happy for him. I just won't be winning as well. So for me, it's going to be completely Del Valle or pass, but my pass is going to be my favorite play.
Yeah, I mean, I said with 11 fights, like I don't hate if you want to play Darren Elkins at his money line. I guess I still wouldn't. If you see like Sheets, who's going to play shutout Sheets, always the man. If he plays 150 lineups, he's probably going to play some Devai or some Elkins. He's 14.8% to win. And I will say the thing with Elkins, he does push a pace. He does wrestle. In his 14% chance to win, 13.8% are going to be optimal. So when you put it that way, you could do worse. But yeah, it's as you and I that study fights and watch fights and try and use some game theory with our own thoughts, it's really hard to click that Elkins name. But again, I mean, the books have it up for a reason. It's 14.8% chance to win right now. If you get 14%,
if Elkins wins, he's probably going to score more than 90 points. I just don't think he wins.
He will. No, yeah. I mean, when he wins, he scores. It's all hard. It'd probably be Yadier gassing out and Elkins taking over and being a junkyard dog. So I usually don't play 150 nowadays. Even in 70 teams, though, maybe I'll get a little bit. 20 teams or less, no chance. I'm clicking Darren Elkins. And yeah, I'm going to be underweight on Yadier as well. 2 fights left, co-main event. Man, I was happy to see Billy Q's name. It's been since 2024. We have him as an underdog. We have minus 167, Diego Ferreira. Plus 147 is Billy Q. Minus 250 for this fight to finish. Ferreira plus 115 inside the distance. Billy Q plus 215. Round 1 props. Ferreira plus 325. Billy Q plus 600. I like this fight quite a bit in real life and in DFS. I'll let you take it away. How do you think it goes down?
Yeah, fun fight. I definitely worry about both of them being at the end of their career. Ferreira, he's 41 years old, but Quarantillo looks like he is getting washed, if not already washed. So I have worries on both sides, but that could also lead to good things for the other side. I think Ferreira is just the more well-rounded, all-around fighter, but he is going to – I mean, he's 41 years old, so I just don't expect him to look how he has looked. And Quarantillo, the one thing about him is he can bring a pace. I think on the feet, he can bring more volume than Ferreira and win minutes that way. He could knock out a 41-year-old Ferreira just because he's getting up there in age. And also when he looks to fight on the ground, he is very aggressive, very active, brings the pace on the ground as well. So I think Quarantillo is kind of like a Goff but with a better chance of winning. But if he wins, he probably is scoring more than 10x, and he has 90-plus, 100-plus point upside in his wins as well. At $7,500, you're going to need that if he gets his hand raised. But if Ferreira is still the same guy at 41 years old, I just don't know that Quarantillo I don't even know that he'll be able to eat those shots that Ferreira was bringing. I mean, he beat the shit out of Rebecca. There's no way Quarantillo is going to do that. So I just don't know on this one. I put Quarantillo as my preferred play because I do love the pace that he brings. I like that he's only $7,500. I'm looking for underdogs to play. I think I've only talked about 2 that I really like so far. So he's going to be the third one that I'm really clicking on and probably getting overweight to. I don't love $8,700 for Diego, but I'm also not going to X him out at all. I'm fine being anywhere from like 15 to 35% on Diego. I think he won't be where I'm starting my lineups, but he's a fine like 5th or 6th click for me in there. And I like other guys, other favorites more. But if Quarantillo's washed, man, Ferreira, there's a lot of ways he could beat him, and he could finish him on the mat. He could finish him on the feet. So he does have high score potential. I just hate playing guys that are over 40 years old.
Yeah, I can't blame you on your last sentence. I like Diego Ferreira quite a bit. He's probably one of my favorite plays on the slate when it comes down to ownership. I do think Billy Q is going to be one of the chalkier options in the lower tier. I think people see that money line on Diego, see his price, and get away a little bit. And especially Juliana Miller's 200 more. And yeah, I mean, I saw Diego Ferreira just 3 fights ago beat the shit out of Rebecca, like you mentioned. Wasn't even close. And Rebecca is absolutely doing terrible things to Billy Q. And when I've seen Billy Q in 2024, he already looked like he was starting to get washed at 37 years old. So even though he's 41, I think Diego Ferreira looks better at this point of his career. I think he's probably going to be lower owned than Billy Q. I think he's a good amount of leverage off of Billy Q. I think he can win by sub. I think he can win by KO. I think he can get takedowns, reversals. I like this fight a good amount. Like, I'm going to play some Billy Q too, but again, I think he's going to be higher owned. It's a lot easier to talk yourself into Billy Q than it is Diego Ferreira. And I am talking myself into Diego Ferreira at 8,700. I'll overspend because I think he has big boy upside in this. I think he's less washed at this point of his career, and I think he finishes Billy Q when it is all said and done. I like this fight quite a bit, though. One of my favorites to target on the card, as most Billy Q fights have been over the years. All right. Obviously a phenomenal fight here. Real life, DFS. Big boy step up for Quillen Salkilld, but he does find himself as the favorites against Mateusz Gamrot. Minus 134 Salkilld, plus 114 is Gamrot. Come on, fight odds. Open it up. Minus 175 for this fight to finish. Salkilld plus 135 inside the distance. Gamrot plus 240. Salkilld round 1 plus 450. Not much has changed on the money line since Monday. Not much has changed on the inside the distance since Monday. Where this line opened, minus 110 on both sides, a straight pick 'em. Salkilld took money. He got as low as minus 148, but the line hasn't been moving too much since that initial buy as a pick. You can see the age difference, 26 years old, 35 years old. Man, 7.25 takedowns, 5.22 takedowns. I said with 11 fights, like the only reason not to play it is just pure game theory, hoping to get a nut shot, a DQ, whatever it may be. I'm just going to play it and I'll find ways to get different. That's why I'm really happy that 12 fight was added. I'll get different again, leaving the 600 from Diyar to Lopes, or 8,500, drop that down to Montanha and leave $800. I'd rather get different doing stuff like that than fading this mid-tier 8,300, 7,900 main event. When it comes down to my pick, I don't even have a strong lean on the pick. I'm going Gamrot because he has the plus money next to him, because it's a big step up, because we've seen him in 5-round fights, but mainly it's because he's 400 cheaper. So any Salkilld lineup can be Gamrot and eliminate dupes, and what I believe to be pretty much a coin flip fight. So I'll go Gamrot. Confidence is not high, but when it comes down to eliminating dupes due to the salary, that is what makes me like him more. Great fight, though. Maybe 60-40 Gamrot. If I go through my process and that's what I came out with, I would feel very good about that. I do not want to have too big of a stand. And if you're looking at only a couple way chop, or doesn't even, whatever it is, if you live in a legal state or have a bookie, you are going to ship if one of them wins. You can bet the other at slight plus money or slight favored money, and it won't break the bank, and you can lock up profit. Not something I always do, really, just if it's a big boy swept, but you always have that option if you go all in on this fight with it being closely lined. Great fight. How do you see it going? And yeah, I'll ask you how you see it going, but like the wrestling, Gamrot's going to wrestle. Salkilld going to wrestle at all? Do you think he has success? How do you see it going down?
Dude, I actually have no idea how the Salkilld game plan is going to go, but I'm on the Salkilld side, man. I like this kid a lot. I think he is definitely a future title contender, possibly a future title owner. Gamrot, way more experience, great wrestling. I like his pressure and his pace, but he is not great at holding guys down. I definitely give Salkilld the striking edge. He's a damn good wrestler and grappler himself, so I'm not even sure that Gamrot has the wrestling edge in this one. So I'm going to take a stand in this one. Salkild's my favorite play on the entire slate. I probably want at least 60% Salkilld, but that's going to leave me with 40% Gamrot. I'm going to play with 20 or less. I'm going to make sure this fight is in every single one of my 20. If I get to maybe over 50, then I would be okay hoping for a nut shot with like one of my lineups. But I'm just going to be loading up on this fight. There's not even a close second on the card to me. I think this is just miles above every other fight, and it's right there in the mid-range where I just don't see the winner not being on the optimal lineup. I think we're going to get 100 plus from either guy, but Gamrot has to wrestle for 3 to 5 rounds for him to win, and I don't know that he's going to be able to do that against a guy like Salkilld. I was hoping I would get Salkilld at plus money. I'm still not against betting him at minus 135, to be honest with you. He's my preferred play, and I think this is a fight that the UFC want him to win as well. So give me Salkilld. I cannot wait for this fight, and if he dominates Gamrot, throw him into a title picture real soon.
Yeah, I can't argue that one bit. I think Salkild's the sexy pick. I'm actually surprised the line is as close as it is, and that actually made me like Gamrot a little more than I initially did too. Like Salkild's definitely the sexy pick. And this one has looked absolutely phenomenal, scores very well. You can see the numbers on the stone, 5.01 significant strikes per minute, 7.25 takedowns per 15. You're just going to have a phenomenal real-life fight, one that should translate for DFS. Even if the winners score 90, 93, which I think would be pretty bad, they're 8,300 and 7,900. And 93 can be a plenty on this 12-fight card, which, again, makes it very tough to fade. Even if 93% of the field play it, if I have 100, I'll just look at it 7% paying the rake. And if they aren't on the optimal, it's just not my day when it's all said and done. And I'd be good moving on to next week. So, yeah, 100% probably for me in this one. Gamrot, my preferred play, mainly because he's 400 less. Salkilld, Big Marley's preferred play for all the reasons he did mention. Man, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this now that we have 12 fights. It is a night and day change than I originally thought. Again, if you head over to shipnation.com, multiple different ways to get in for the month, usually $99. Now just $49 for your first month. SaberSim and the Discord are included. PGA, MLB, MMA, and NASCAR all going on. Next thing you know, NFL is as well. If you go bottom left, join the nation. 5 days for $19. Also includes SaberSim. Also includes Discord. Single sport. If you are just playing in the MMA streets, you can get in as for $29 for our content. Only $20 more for SaberSim. And again, as you can see, Little Neck in here. We do not have preseason football offerings. But that being said, if you do join either the 5 days for $19 or the monthly package, you will get access to the Discord that includes NFL, and people like Little Neck will be talking preseason football in there and do a phenomenal job to help you keep up with the news. MLB's going on. Rio has absolutely been crushing it. We do have an NFL best ball chat in Discord as well. If you ever have any questions you want to ask Big Marley or myself, you can do that too. I want your final thoughts, Big Marley, and then I'm curious, it's not about MMA, but how many best ball drafts you have done so far.
I was about to say I got to go do at least one draft before I pass out. I think I need to do almost 4 a day to max out everything before the season starts. I've got 115 done on DraftKings. I want to say 102 on Underdog. And I think I just hit 100 on Drafter. So I'm deep, and almost all of them are fast draft too. So it's a grind, man. It's a grind, but my exposures are looking nice. So I'm hoping the injuries stay away from me, and this is my year. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I love drafting best ball. It's been a rough last couple of years, man, but this is my year, hopefully. We'll see, but good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
You're a beast. And yeah, I mean, you said the last couple of years, you're playing tournaments, 18, 19%, almost all the money is in week 17. Even then, you need to show out there. There's so much variance. I already got mine done a couple of years back, so I know I'm going to lose money every single year for the rest. And I'll still be in the green. It only takes one. You got to get lucky. When you win, how much do you win? Got lucky over here. I am hoping it's Big Marley's year. And yeah, you're putting yourself, you got to enter the contest to have a chance, and you sure are grinding. And all fast drafts, that is very impressive. I'm an all slow draft kind of guy pretty much, so it could not be any more opposite. I will be cheering for you after I cheer for myself, of course. But we appreciate everyone hanging out. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out. Join the nation, get in the Discord. If you do, that's going to do it for us. For Big Marley, I'm Title Town. Good luck. Be safe. Peace.